Hello John, thank you for just keeping by.
Oh, no worries at all.
Okay. This is the third time that we've now been to the SciFi Weekender convention, and it's the third time we're going to be seeing the dark room, which we have to say is the highlight of the convention for us. So how did the dark room come about?
The dark room came about because I just had a really quick little routine about how shit 80s text adventures were. And then while dying in front of an audience of about 2,000 anime fans, my brain went, no, shit, you're out of stuff, do the new bit. And it just worked miraculously, because it turns out that if you get a group of gamers in a room and present them with a game, they will try to win.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah,
yep.
So that worked, and then we did this kind of improv for 40 minutes just one day, and that worked, and then we made it a YouTube series, and that worked, and then I took it to Edinburgh, and that worked, and yeah, it's great. It's a lot. We've been a lot of places and made a very small amount of money. It's been okay.
Yeah, and you've got a children's version as well.
We do.
I remember you talking about I think it was last year.
Yeah, well, the kids version, which I was going to retire the kids version pretty fucking swiftly. But what happened was I'd been on the phone to my agent. We were about to do it in Leicester, and I was just upset, and I was just going, there's no one's coming, and I was just having a big bloody whinge. And then I forgot to load up the kids version of the show on the computer. I loaded up the adult version instead, and I just did the adult version for the children, and we won Best Kids Show at the Leicester Comedy Festival.
All right, so...
Yeah, so as a result, the kids show is still touring, and it has won awards. And
I remember your reaction when you were like...
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But the nice thing is, one of the judges of it came up to me at the award ceremony and went, well, I'll tell you why you won. You don't patronise the children.
Yeah.
Because the children are going to die, and it's important you tell them.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's very old man who I'm fairly certain you feel the touch of death when you get out of bed. Anytime you get your head successfully off the pillow is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because I know from working in schools and that it's really important with children, especially teenagers, that they feel that you're actually talking to them as adults rather than patronising, as you just said. Yeah. So
you're not doing that. Hey guys.
Oh yeah.
Yo, whoa, bro. Yeah. Drugs. What are they about?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, especially that's the sort of thing we grew up with in the 80s and 90s, especially. So.
Well, I can tell you,
that's one of the things that
we grew up with that in the 80s and 90s, and in the 2000s, that was my job.
Yeah.
I was a theatre. Look, there's something about being a theatre and education guy and having to look at a script that hasn't been updated since 1987 and going, the kids don't know who Rambo was.
Well, they might do, depending on how many sequels there was at the time.
No.
Not that many.
No, what they did know was this. There was meant to be a very, very, very worthy bit about self-harm. And I remember pretending to slash my wrist. Now this is about, it's about noon, it's a lunch break, for some children. And as I recall, that year 7 group just screamed the word emo at me over and over and over again. But these are Australian children, empathy does not come naturally to them.
Yeah, it doesn't really change much in the UK either.
No, I bet it hasn't. I've met your little scallywags, and Grange Hill was a fucking documentary. So.
Yes. So how do you feel that your time as sort of working with kids has helped you develop the dark room for kids, and also do you feel that it has helped develop the dark room for adults and any other comedy routines that you've done?
The weird thing is, because I was a theatre and education guy, I worked at a science museum, so I used to do puppet shows that taught children about soil erosion. G'day. Door open. Nope. That door would be closed. And you see, and it's this ability to convey really complex ideas that's what I've learned how to do. I can tell a grown man whether a door is open or fucking closed. Hi kids, welcome back to Open or Shut. Now, you know what? The weirdest thing is that doing the dark room for adults has made me a better children's entertainer, because let's put it this way, when I wanted the children to like me, right, that is when the children used to thump me in the genitals. Children, if you mess around too much, kids get very excited. And then
and all the limbs flail.
Yeah, but then really just kind of, this will be funny. Bang! I do this to daddy. Bang! That sort of thing. But thanks to Darkroom, children, they understand that I'm playing, and they understand it's very funny, but they also understand that under no circumstances should I be approached or touched. It's very good, you know. It's very much just kind of like being like, oh, look at that. There's a large teddy bear over there, and it's got teeth, and it's staring at me.
It's like, I want to talk to this, but I'm not going to go near it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of kids who they're very brave for a second, and then I kind of get close to them, and then they really shut up. It's good fun.
From going and seeing the dark room a couple of times, you get a really broad response from the adults.
Oh
playing
yes.
You get some people who are really into it, really excited. You get the shy, and you're very good at bringing out the shy and sort of people as well. And then you also get the ones that are very drunk by that stage of the evening, because it comes on quite late because of the entertainment
I think it just comes on quite late because it probably should. Because well, you know, like 4 in the afternoon when the sun's still up is a real bugger to a show called The Dark.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, that's a very good point.
See, the thing is, I don't mind a drunk audience member. What I don't, you know, like someone who just got drunk in the show, I love that. What I don't want is someone who's been drunk for the last 6 hours. Who then, because they're
not fun.
Well, they just sort of blither gibberish. But then they're also the people who find out that my costume's covered with really sharp spikes. And once the first vein is nicked, they tend to go, I might sit down.
Yeah.
I might reconsider what I'm doing, you know.
Yes.
Especially since I don't wash those spikes. So there's a lot of blood poisoning.
Oh, lovely. I didn't need to know that much information.
Well, hey, you know, like if they're lucky and they put enough alcohol in their system, it sanitizes them and they'll be fine.
Yes.
So yeah.
What would you say is your favourite experience, like response you've had to the dark room, or is that a spoiler?
No, that's no spoiler. To be honest, unfortunately it's quite a boring answer. My favourite response to the dark room is just when people are happy, you know, and it's one of those things where just people make their own fun in the show, and that's a really good. Like we're doing the show at Insomnia, and a large black balloon just slowly lowered itself onto the stage, just accidentally. And then the next show, a bloke had made 200 black darkroom balloons, which were then, I noticed during the interval, then taped to the stage before I got there, which is a lot of, you know, like people make their own shit.
Yeah.
And those guys are the Black Balloon Brigade, and then you've got the Darrens, who are a bunch of guys who like are mapping the game properly and stuff like that. And people make their own stuff. Darren's Flamboyant Potato Appreciation Society, you know, all this stuff, and it really tickles me when I'm like, hey, people are playing the thing I made, and they're making their own good stuff in it. That's really cool.
So it's a really the thing being a geek is you take the fandom, you take the franchise, the game, whatever it is, the world, and you make it your own. Yeah. So essentially, the dark room has become something that people are making it their own.
Yeah.
Being a geek yourself, because I'm guessing from the fact that you've made your own game and you've talked about how the dark room was based on games and things like that.
Welcome back.
Editing sport.
Well, as it turned out, we picked a room that was it's defined as a room because it has 2 sets of doors, and who knew people would open them? Whoops. Yeah.
So where was I?
We're just talking
that
about.
It was based on.
Yeah, it's old text adventures.
Yeah.
And I mean, people look. Yeah, again, like it's just something cool. You know, it's something fun. It's like when I think of my boyhood watching all of the Star Trek series and then reading the Star Trek novels, and even like Star Trek novels are an example of people just adding to it and just having fun. Yeah. And that's what we want. You know, it's not like we're not seeing no one. I've seen people cosplay as my guy in the dark room, and I've seen people cosplay as the Flamboyant Potatoes.
Oh yeah, I remember last year's one. They were amazing.
They're incredible, but we haven't yet like no one's like being an original character yet. You know, like we don't have anyone who's like I'm Darren, but I'm Darren with.
So is that a challenge out there for anybody? We want to see some original Darren.
Well, it'd be a very very low budget cosplay to be fair, because you could just wear any outfit.
I've seen some. Low ones at SFW before, so
low budget cosplays.
But it could also be a really creative one as well.
Yeah.
So there's the challenge.
Well,
I want Darren with a peg like.
Darren. Oh no, we've had. Look, he called himself Stumpy Darren, and he was that. And I'll tell you something, right? While we're here, if you ever want to have your perceptions of how creative and liberal you are challenged, just have an amputee in a comedy audience, because those guys have the biggest, broadest sense of humour of anybody. And it's like last Insomnia, this kid just runs up to me and goes, "Sign me, Stump!" And you're just like, okay, is that, because every part of me is like, is that cool? Is that alright? And he's like, high five, high five, high five, and then he goes, hi none. I'm like, fucking hell.
I really appreciate you telling that story
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm actually disabled, so
Yeah.
part of my blog is actually covering disabilities and things as well. So
Yeah.
that is actually a great story
Oh,
to be able
good.
to tell my viewers as well. So
I'm glad.
say thank you.
Well, no, well, like disabled people that I've met are people, you know, like you're dealing with something fucking hard
Yes.
every single day, and then like your coping mechanisms or how that affects your worldview.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible what that can do.
Yeah.
It's like the seeing impaired guy who comes to see Darkroom sometimes, right? Who, when everyone's flailing around in the dark room, the first time I met him, he was laughing on her amateurs, you know, and that was his thing. And he's a great bloke, you know. Like it's incredible. It's just like, yeah, when people, well, I don't know, when people suffer or they go through an experience different to yours, of course they build up their own sense of humour about it.
Yes.
But I think the most important thing, of course, is you have to, like, the sense of humour has to come from the disabled person.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, rather than...
If it comes from the outside, it just doesn't work.
No, exactly. Well, it's that, you know, it's that dickhead. Let me have a go in your wheelchair. You know, that kind of thing. No, we don't want that.
Or can I try your glasses on?
Yes. I don't want that. What I want is the guy in the wheelchair. Like the fact that Stephen Hawking, if you annoyed him, used to just run people over.
Yeah.
It's hysterically funny.
Oh no, he did so many amazing things.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many stories. Like last year, I think it was at the SFW, he did the recording to go with one of the bands.
Yeah.
Things like that. The amount of things that he would do for people without the generosity.
They made a song based on his workings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he done a full recording for them to use.
Yes.
Things like that.
That's brilliant.
It's like disabled people are no different to, well, they are in some ways, but so is everybody else.
Of course.
We're all different. That's the whole point of being a person.
Exactly. And the thing is, you want to define yourself the way you define yourself.
Exactly.
So I the young men I've met missing limbs, right? Some of them have fucking loved that. And then, and then it's one of those things as well. Like we see it with the live show. Okay. You know, we're doing science fiction conventions.
Mm-hmm.
What conditions run rampant here? Anxiety,
yes,
right? Varying degrees of neurotypical behaviour, all this sort of stuff. And it's one of those things where some people, right? Because we have had guys who are like they come forward and they're like, I want you to know I'm autistic, right? And I'm like, and the next word there is proud. You know, and that's great. And we have those guys who are like that. And then you've got the guys who it's like, no, that person's actually having an anxiety attack. Let's not just leave them alone. They don't need to be played with.
I've always wondered when you do that, when you go around, because I've always thought, if he picks me, can I actually stand up there and do it?
Yeah.
Because anxiety is one of the things that I suffer with, and I'm like, can I actually do this? If he sticks the microphone in front of me, can I handle this?
Well,
and I've always wondered how you do that.
Well, I would sort of take a reading of you. And one nice thing about the show being in the dark and, you know, the microphone being able to move away from my mouth and things like that is you'd be astonished how much whispering you and I could get done. So it's very much like, because I do things like, ooh, and then like once you've done that, you come in close and like, you're all right. Do you want to do it? You know, because you don't have to. And then, and I've watched people like they move their anxiety to the side or whatever, and they get up through it. You know, and all that, and then the guys who just go, no, that's okay. Like, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we can get all of that done in about 5 seconds. No one notices what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I did think that you probably did do that, having spoken to you several times. Last year, I don't know if you remember, we stopped you and you took a photo with us. And things like, we've had a couple of conversations with you before, and I thought, he's a nice enough guy, you know, he's considerate, he's not one of these jackass sort of comedians who just shoves the mic in people's faces and expects them to perform on camera.
No, you can't do that. I mean, you know, like, and it's one of those things that you learn the hard way. You know, like, you know, not everyone learns the hard way, but I bloody did. You know, you find that out pretty fast. You know, you only need one 6'5" man who's had enough. You know what I mean? To just kind of get up, and then you're like, I'm being hugged, but wait, too tightly around the throat. You know, that's sort of thing. Yeah.
That's when the spikes were introduced.
But
was that when the spikes get introduced?
No.
It took a while for that lesson.
That would have been a great idea. But I mean that's the go. It's like when we're doing darkroom, I try to think of myself as being a considerate bully because like one thing that I know, right, is that playing the game is fun.
Yes.
And I know that like having somebody's, call out their options or stand up or whatever, I know that that gives them an experience that, I mean, to be fair, at best, they haven't had today.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, whilst I'm being like, oh, fuck you, all of this, right? I know the endowment I'm giving you is there's actually a real opportunity to be a hero here. Right? Okay. I mean, you're a hero where every step of the way I'm telling you you're a moron, but at the same time, there's still
the whole crowd is saying the opposite.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, they're cheering, things like that. It's to me, it's more like giving somebody the opportunity to be Frodo, having a journey to Mordor. Than it is an opportunity to just be like, I'm going to kick you! I'm going to kick you heaps, and the crowd's going to be like, yeah! Unless, of course, you're an asshole. In which case...
then the crowd wants you to get kicked.
Oh, the audience could not give a fuck about you at that point, which is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, but that's what you want.
I can imagine being you at that point, having the audience.
Oh, it's the best. You spent 16 years as a stand-up comic, where in the first 5 years you were absolutely terrible, and you've got your bloody share of the audience turning on you or agreeing with the heckler.
Yeah.
There's something wonderful about an audience that just goes, "No, John, we like you. Settle down momentarily. Mob rule will fix this guy." And then when the lights come up, there's just a little smear where that person used to be, and that's a bloody treat. Nobody saw anything. It's a dark room.
Well, John, this has been absolutely brilliant, and I really appreciate you talking through all the disability and especially the anxiety, because I think a lot of people who maybe have seen the show before and haven't been quite sure about standing up and having that opportunity, but maybe once they've seen this will think, yeah, I want to do that.
Well, I hope so. Yes, I mean, don't trust me for any reason. Like, I just as a little caveat.
It is John Robertson after all, so.
I mean well. It doesn't always work, but it's okay.
So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
what a joy.
Thank you.
Beauty.